Hey guys. Hello, hello. We've got a couple of viewers tonight. Please join us. Let us know where you're viewing from, who's on. Thank you so much. And welcome to the May edition of Go There Third Thursdays. I'm your host, Rev Bernie, and so happy to have you here on tonight. Please like us, share us, join us. Again, let us know where you're watching from, who you are. Until you put in a comment, I can't tell because I can't see you. You can see me. But we are so happy you are here. If you just, oh, thank you for the heart. If you are just with us for the first time, let us know that too. We're so grateful to have you, and thank you, thank you, thank you. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Hi, yes, my aunt is here. Woo! She's always so faithful. Thank you, Ani. Um, yes, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Hey, Michelle. All right. You in the house. Thank you, sweetheart. And we are just, excited because there is so much available to us now. And we are having the conversations we should have been having a long time ago. So I'm excited. I'm excited about our guest. Her bio was in the reminder that went out. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about her. Again, if you are joining us, please put something in the comments in the chat so I know who you are. I see the numbers going up. We got a couple of people on. Just give us a hey, girl, or, thanks, glad to be here. But I cannot wait. Angelita L. Boyce Bowe is a licensed mental health counselor who graduated with her bachelor's degree in psychology from Loyola College in Maryland. And she obtained a Master's of Art in General Psychology from Adelphi University, followed by a Master's of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling from Long Island University, CW Post. She has a primary certificate in Rational, Emotive, and Cognitive Behavior Therapy, and she is the owner of Ray of Light Mental Health Counseling Services. And she's going to tell you much more about what she does, her practice. She had an awesome retreat that I saw on Facebook just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe not even that long. And she didn't even know I saw it. I was watching. And I'm just delighted. She's a sweet, sweet spirit. We are bound by people that we know and just by sisterhood in the Lord. So without further ado, we call her Angel. Join us. Hey, girl.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, great. So good to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. I said you could probably do a much better job than I could just reading the bio. So you can tell us through experiences. And so I turn it over to you.
Well, I mean, you did a wonderful job introducing me. Thank you. Um,
Thank you.
I love it. But, as you said, my name is Angelita, but everybody calls me Angel. And
Mhm.
I am a licensed mental health counselor. So I provide therapy services to individuals, couples, families, also do group therapy. And
Mm.
I have a group practice, which I'm not the only clinician there. I also have some interns, some other licensed professionals that also offer services to people. So there's a lot that we're doing in terms of mental health. And I just love the opportunity to be here tonight to talk about mental health and to bring that. That's part of my passion and part of what brought me into the field, right? Is to
Mhm.
be able to help people in my community, people that look like me, people that, like you said, don't always have access to these resources.
Right.
Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So you have to share with us, how did this journey begin? How did we come to this ray of light?
And it's funny because it's not really a story that I tell too
Mhm.
often, in terms of like how did I get into this field. But I'm really happy and excited to share that now because for me, it's a story of how God just orchestrates things and orders our steps and really can take us anywhere that you want to go.
Mhm.
I was doing some house cleaning and I happened to come across one of these old debutante cotillions that I was in. And I think I was probably 12 years old at the time. So I don't remember what I said or what I put into that little bio that we put. And I read, even back then at the age of 12, I said, my name is Angel and I want to be a child psychologist. And that was my goal from a young girl. And I didn't go to therapy. I didn't really grow up in an environment where that was common. In fact, a lot of people, family, friends told me, oh, don't go into psychology. You need to go into social work because that's where you can guarantee get a job and that's where you'll make money, right?
Wow.
But you talk about the vision,
right?
And where your family and friends, they might see certain things for you and want certain things for you. You have to trust what God has already put into your heart and into your mind.
Come on.
And for me, I always wanted to be a counselor. I grew up, in a very diverse family, a very diverse area. And I think I witnessed a lot of different things that people struggled with, right? And the way I grew up, we went to church and that's how we dealt with different things. But I don't know, God always put something in my spirit that there's more, and he has more for his people. And that led me into the counseling field. And from there, that's how I started this career. And I went to school. I said, I want to be a psychologist. And
girl, did you go to school? I mean, you went to schools. Okay.
Yes. And even that was a journey because honestly speaking, I saw myself going down one route, but life takes different twists and turns. And nevertheless, you just never let go of the vision. No matter what stumbling block comes in, or whatever the different dynamic is. Actually, how I became a mental health counselor was because I applied to POST's PsyD program. And I didn't get into that program, but they reached out to me and said, oh, would you be interested in a mental health counseling program? And I said, I'll come in and interview there. And from there, I found out that I could do what I want to do even this way. And I was already like pre-accepted and all of that. And so that's how I actually got into become a mental health counselor. Right. But God still has the vision for me. So the doctorate is still coming. It's in the works. Right.
Woo! Doctorate books. Come on now. This is good. This is so good. Praise God.
Yes. But that is how I got into the POST mental health counseling program. And from there, I networked, I met some colleagues, and just through those relationships, I was able to start working in a private practice setting because I came from an agency background. And for people to kind of know the difference, private practice is like where you're not necessarily under the operation of like a state entity. It's just you as the business owner who gets to kind of decide who are the people that I want to treat. How do I want my business to look? How do I want this practice to look? And by working under those people, I was able to be mentored to understand how to open up my private practice. And I'm telling you, God is just doing wonderful things with bringing in my people, my the people that I grew up wanting to help from, because remember, the vision came from where I came from, from the things around me that I saw. And the things that I witnessed was a part of the motivation for me to become the counselor that I am, right? So the dream was always to get my practice and not treat other people, but to treat the people that looked like me and needed these services, but maybe weren't aware of how to get them.
Right.
And through owning my own business, that is how I'm able to do the amazing things in mental health that I'm doing.
Yes. No, that is awesome. And I'm looking at the comments. Somebody says she is straight talking to me. Listen, God just has a way. He does all things well. And I heard you say, he just orchestrated everything. For such a time even as this, like I said, a couple of days or weeks ago, you had your first wellness retreat. Talk to us about that and how that all came about.
That is another organic situation that happened because
you're talking to a planner here. So go for it.
Because you know what it is when you're in tune with God, right? When you're in tune with what your vision is and the things that are aligned with what you want to do, you're able to see the different needs, right? And then you can plan and figure out how to bring those different visions to life, right? Because the vision is just the beginning part of it. You have to do some action steps to actually bring that vision to fulfillment. So me as a counselor, even just amongst my family and friends, and I have a couple of friends that I met throughout my educational journey, and even my family are doing amazing things. I mean, I see my cousin Elizabeth is here, who's a teacher.
Yep, she's there.
Yes, and my aunt Michelle, who is here, who's a reverend. And we always find ourselves having these deep conversations as women about mental health, right? About what we've been feeling, and somebody might be going through something and how that's impacting them, and parenting, and all of these various things. And one of my friends who's a medical doctor, we kept talking about, we need to get a retreat going, because we need to start bringing some of the knowledge that we have and the skill set that we have again to the people that we're around, that we're having these conversations with, right? Because even as my family, it's great that I get to talk to you, but I can't be your therapist, right? I'm your niece, I'm your cousin, I'm your sister, I'm Angel. So there's a different type of dynamic and relationship in terms of being able to get mental health, right? So when we said the retreat would be a great opportunity to expose our family and friends to these topics, and even as mental health is related to your physical health, right? Because my friend who's a doctor we were talking about a lot of different things in terms of treatment outcomes and how your mental health has such a huge impact, right? If you're stressed, if you're dealing with anxiety, that's right there, gastrointestinal stuff, right? A lot of people with ulcers and all kinds of stomach issues. We're talking blood pressure. We're talking about being angry, right? And not forgiving. Anxiety, trauma. Trauma gets stored in different parts of our body, right? So there's different places or ways that we can lay that can trigger a traumatic memory and have us react some type of way. And for me, why I love that you're doing this, Reverend Bernie Durham Mental Health Awareness Month, is that for us in our community, the awareness of mental health is limited, right? Because we see ourselves a different way. And so part of what I wanted to do in that retreat, and what we're even doing right now, is bringing a level of awareness to mental health and what that looks like, right? So when you lay down and you have a traumatic response, are you identifying it as a traumatic response? Or are you just going with the flow and doing what you always do, right? Are you feeling sad, or are you struggling with depression?
Come on now.
Right? And what is the difference? And how much do I just have to power through because I'm a strong woman, or because I'm a Christian, I have my faith and I have this? Or when do I need to maybe get a professional?
Right.
And so that was what that wellness retreat was all about. And when I tell you, it was even more than even I could imagine, because first of all, my family, my friends, my aunts, like even these are my aunts who raised me, right? Who I looked up to, who taught me and made me into the woman I am, who are now reaching back out to me to say, Angel, I don't know, you got to connect me with a therapist. You got to help me figure out how to do this, that, and the third. This
right. And the stigmatism is gone. Like when we see or hear therapy or counseling in the past, it was like, oh, she got a problem. You know, like she cuckoo, or whatever. It's like, no, it doesn't have to be that. I'm struggling in an area and I just need some help, like you said, to identify it, you know? And I love how you said also about how those stressors compartmentalize in our body, and you wonder why you feeling the way you feel, like you woke up okay, but now the day is going on and it's like, who did you speak to? What did they say? Or what did you do? Or what did you see? And it triggers. Things are triggering your anxiety and oh my gosh. Yes, especially now. I've been working from home since March 12th, 2020.
Wow.
That's a long time. I mean, I know we've been in the pandemic and all, and it's not that I've been inside. I mean, I've been out and everything like that, but I haven't been back in that building. But there's something to be said, even being in an enclosed space. For a while, I was in Brooklyn alone. Like it was me and my apartment. And nobody could come in, and nothing was going on. I wasn't going out. Nobody was coming in. Not family. I love y'all. Not family. Not friends. I was by the door, and that's where we were for a long time.
Yes.
That takes a toll on people.
Absolutely. The pandemic, I think, shined a light on a lot of the mental health issues that people in general, no matter what your background is, tend to neglect or not even pay attention to, because we're so caught up in the hustle and bustle of life. But when you have to sit and be still, right? When you don't have a choice and you have to sit with yourself, what's coming up for you? What's the anxiety? What's the impact of isolation? on
Mhm.
us, or job loss, right? How does that impact our coping skills? How does
Yes.
that impact and grief? I mean,
Yes.
people were losing people, right? So there was so, and this is the thing about mental health, and I'm so glad you said this earlier, is that mental health is health. We all have a mental health,
Yeah.
right? Every single one of us have
Every
mental
last one of
health,
them. Mhm.
right? Just like we have a physical health that we need to maintain, we have that mental health. And so I love what you said about destigmatizing it, right? Because what I saw through the pandemic is a ton of people coming out and recognizing that they need to speak to somebody because of what was coming up for them in this space. And I'm glad that telehealth existed, because even me, I couldn't go back into the office, right? But I mean, it was, the demand was more than every counselor that I knew was overwhelmed.
Wow.
Every single counselor I knew was
Wow.
overwhelmed. We all had waiting lists. You know what I mean? And that says a lot, because these things were happening pre-pandemic,
Right.
but nobody was
But
being.
nobody would, right. You weren't acknowledging what you were feeling.
Yes.
Listen, I was alone the whole time before the pandemic. So when the pandemic come, I was like, okay, God's still hiding me.
Yes. Yes.
Like, wow. No,
And
that
one
is
of the
so
things that I brought up in the retreat, especially as it pertains to women of color, is
Mhm.
that we suffer just as much when it comes to mental health with different things, right? But we're less likely to go out and get help for it. We're less likely
Mm.
to get that professional help. So as a result, the intensity at which we deal with it is worse.
Mhm.
And the consequences of it, right, are more severe for us, right?
Okay.
Because if your mental health is impaired, how are you going to work?
Right. Family. How you gonna take
How
care
are
of
you
the
going to
family?
take care of your family? How are you going to take
This
care
is
of
true.
yourself and your
True.
physical health, right? And
Mhm.
we're like, you already know, we're like number one for dealing with all kind of heart issues, diabetes, and everything that predisposes us. And we
Yes.
have to see the correlation between that and our mental health. And that's why we have to, like, I love that you're doing this, because it, to me, as you can see, right, I'm very passionate
Yes. No, I love it. I love it.
about people going out and really taking advantage of the services that are available.
Mm-hmm. And as we were talking offline, one of the things I share with you is, this platform, and I just thank God for it, allows me to bring in people that we can trust,
Yes.
that, we know there's 6 degrees of separation to. Like I have brought in speakers that I may not have known personally, but the
Mhm.
person that we both knew, the mutual person, like I would take their word in a minute,
Yes.
like, you want this person. And so I thank and praise God, because I know your family. I know, your cousin and your aunties. I know they are God-fearing people, love the Lord. And yeah, they want what's best. And I think
Absolutely.
in doing what you're doing also, I think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, having that support,
Yes.
is also like a big thing, because it's one thing to start out and say, hey, I'm gonna, God's giving me this vision, I'm gonna run with it, and then you hit some obstacles, you run into some walls, you go one way and you thought that was the way to go, and it's like, stop, come back. And
Mhm.
it's just like, wait, Lord, I thought I heard you. Okay, maybe that wasn't it, let's go back into prayer. That kind of thing.
Yes.
But having a supportive family,
Yeah.
like my aunt, she's the first one on here. Like, she knows every third Thursday, here we are. Like I said, well, I was in Texas, almost missed it because of the time difference, but God is good. Back in December, but just having people to undergird you. And I also love what you said about the community. Like when
Yeah.
you did this conference, this retreat, you didn't probably have to go too far, because you've already established networks with people, doctors and different ones, that you could just reach out and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. And they support the vision.
Absolutely. Actually, my cousin said to me, because she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to come. She had a lot of different things going on, but she said, "I want to support your vision." That was
Mhm.
her. That was her word. She said, "I want to be there to support," and that makes the difference in terms of like motivating me, right, to be able to do the things I'm doing, is to have that support, because like you can't do it by yourself.
No.
Nobody's an island. First we need God, then we need
Yep.
our family, and that has
Resources and yep, people.
Absolutely. So that has been a major, major support and part of Ray of Light.
Right.
Even just the business aspect. I think a couple of family members have worked with me, have done billing for me, have
I'm laughing because that has happened with my wedding and event planning business. I had them; they were holding the balloons as we go to the event, picking up the cake for me. Listen, it was just me. You got help.
Absolutely.
But they were excited about, and here we are with that 18 years later with the, wow. My planning business. So I get it. Totally. Mm-hmm. So I know this was the first retreat. I want to hear about the next one because I would love to be there. Definitely. Yes. And my sister, I know she is helping someone move. I told her she better tune in. So I better see her name up here before the night is over. But she is a social worker and she has her MSW from Stony Brook.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. And she's been in the field now for about 10 years.
Oh, incredible.
So she's young. She's a young woman. That's my baby. And so, yeah, so I know a little bit about it. I've had several social workers and all, but one of the things that I see, for you when I was reading your bio is also the psychology piece.
Yes.
And that stuck out to me.
Absolutely. I mean, I interact with social workers all the time. I work with them.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Robin says, I need her information. Okay, Robin, we got you, boo. We got you.
Hi, Robin.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, I love social work. It's an integral part of the mental health community, right? And we all have our lane and bring the different things that we can do. That's what I love about the field. So the psychology piece for me just is a little different, and even the counseling piece, right? Because for me, the focus of my training is specifically on being a counselor, right? So with social work, you might learn a lot of other tasks and other things that you can do as well. But for me, a lot of the skill set is in terms of counseling and what that looks like. So that kind of specializes me in a way.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And that being said, where do you see Ray of Light moving forward to? Like, what are the next steps for your business even? Hey,
let me tell you.
Oh, Jesus.
there are no limits.
That's it.
In store for Ray of Light. And I just honestly, like, my scripture God put a scripture in my heart. All things work together because he has just been doing things I'm not even ready for. So even how I transitioned from being by myself as a practitioner and turning into a group practice, I was telling myself, oh, maybe in another year or two, you'll be able to do that. You're not ready just yet. And I was putting limits on myself, right? But God was like, he said, okay, yeah, I got you. Because all of a sudden, one day, here I get an email from out the blue of somebody saying, hey, do you have a minute? I found you on Psychology Today, which is like a resource for people looking for a therapist. And they said, I just wanted to talk to you about private practice and maybe you can teach me some things. And so I met with this person and they were working at an agency doing substance use disorders and treating that. And they said, we really want to get into private practice. What do you suggest? And I said, well, I suggest working for a private practice because that's where you'll get some awareness on like what that looks like. You'll be able to treat people. It's a very different type of vibe. And she said, would you mind if I work with you? I said, well, I didn't even think about that, but and that was the obedience in me, right? Just to see that, something in my spirit said, respond to this person, take that extra minute, because, I'm doing that just out of the goodness of my heart, making time to help mentor someone because somebody did that for me. And that's how I got to where I'm at. And from there, it just continued to grow. I mean, I think I have about 10 clinicians working with me right now, and I have a bunch of interns getting ready to start, and the recommendations just keep coming in. And it's such a blessing because the more people I have working with me, even if they go and open their own practice, the more lives they're able to touch.
That's right.
The more services they're able to give to whoever. And so when you ask me what's next for Ray of Light, I'm already licensed in Maryland. I'm licensed in Georgia. So I see some satellite locations for Ray of Light.
I love it.
I see wherever God is willing to take it. I'm going to just be obedient.
That is wonderful. That is so, so, so wonderful. And you know what I really love is that, yes, everyone's commenting, God will put people in your life. Yep. That
Yes.
will help you, that will guide you, that will cover you.
Yes.
Because as with any business, when you start out or when God gives you a vision, like I said, you're going to run into some folk and it's going to make you like, oh, wait a minute now. I didn't sign up for all of that. I just want to do this, so it is wonderful to see that you're open and willing,
Yes.
in this endeavor, and the retreats and the conferences and everything that's to come, the private practice, the interns. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And that is nobody but God. We talked about that too. To God be all the glory.
That's
how
it.
He just structures everything. Yes. Thank you, Joseph Alexander. He's got like something there. God opens doors. Yes, He does. Yes, He does. And if anyone from our audience has any questions for our speaker tonight, please, I love your comments. Uncle Bob and Aunt Pam are here, just so you know.
Hi, Aunt Pam.
This is great. This is great.
Yes.
One other thing I wanted to find out, or for you to talk about. So, we were talking. I mean, mental health has always been that kind of thing that if people had someone in their family, Bishop Carter, that's my pastor, and he would always make us laugh. He's like, if you can't identify the person in your family that's a little off, it's probably you. So, it's like, okay. But, on a serious note, a lot of us either have family members or people that we know who needed services. That's how we like to say it. They needed extra services or whatever. Right now, I think we all need services in some way or shape because there's so much going on, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to fall into a state of depression,
Yes.
And just feel very anxious. I know when the pandemic hit, I couldn't figure out when I went to sleep why I couldn't go to sleep.
Right.
I mean, I've never had a problem going to sleep.
Right.
I know how to tell myself, like, clear your thoughts, clear your mind, bring it down, woosah, all that stuff. But I wasn't going to sleep. And it was just like insomnia to the 10th power.
Right.
And of course, I got to get back up in like 3 hours because now I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get back up and I got to be functional when I get up. I'm not getting on a train and going to work, but I can't mess up what I'm doing for work on my computer. And so, it took a while. I was like, wow, what is going on? And just trying to identify that. But is there a difference, or can you speak a little bit about going through something like that where you at stages, maybe you lost someone, maybe, you're caring for someone, you're going through stages where your mental health is being compromised, or you're in a very fragile state, versus someone who is clinically like need meds, need assistance, need to go sit down and talk to someone on a routine basis.
Yeah. Well, I will say that you said so many things that I wanted to touch on that was really good, but I think we all need to sit down and talk to someone, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to reach it, because everything exists on a spectrum. So we got mild, we can have moderate, we can have severe, we can have all these things. But I think everybody can benefit from talking, because where the challenge is a lot of people don't know the symptoms of what they're dealing with. So like you said, right, a lot of my clients come in and they tell me they can't sleep. I'm just up thinking. And I say, that sounds like anxiety, right? How often are you thinking? How much control do you have to have over things? How comfortable are you with uncertainty, right? Because those things to me are signs of maybe something happening in terms of anxiety. And while you may not reach the clinical level to be diagnosed with something, it doesn't mean that you don't need to learn skills on how to manage your anxiety.
That's good.
Right. And so even sometimes people are just down or just crying or just very emotional, right? And they're they lose that motivation, or they stop answering the phone as much. A lot of, especially now with boundaries and everybody trying to set boundaries, it's like, nope, I'm not answering my phone or here. I'm not on social media, right? And that's okay. Sometimes we need to do those things, but we need to identify, why am I doing that? Am I withdrawing? Is that a sign of maybe depression that's coming on? And understanding, that's what Mental Health Awareness Month is about, right? It's just raising the awareness of what different symptoms are, because sometimes it's not just I can't sleep. Sometimes I have to learn to manage the anxiety piece, right? And so that's one piece of the puzzle. And then the other part that you kind of addressed is, from a clinical standpoint, I always look at it in terms of functioning, right? So when does it start to impair or impact your functioning? So like you said, if you're not sleeping long term and you're making mistakes at work, or you're not showing up on time, or you're not able to attend engagements, that's an impairment to your functioning. And functioning can be social, it can be familial, it can be work related, it can be physical, right? Are you having a lot of other issues that are showing up in your body that are a result of the mental health symptoms that you're dealing with? And so that's why I always encourage people to just go talk to a professional, because they'll be the ones that can help you delineate what that is.
That's good.
Yeah. And we're trained to look at those kind of things. It's great to talk to your friends. It's great to talk to your family. It's great to talk to your pastor, because especially for people of color, that's our comfort zone because of the stigma, like you said. Because I'll talk to people and they're all good for therapy for somebody else. Right? Like, no, I love therapy. Yeah. They'll tell people you should go to therapy. But then if I ask them, have you considered talking to a therapist? Oh, no, I'm not that bad. I don't need that.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum.
Like, deal with what I have going on, right? That's what. But we all are those people. And like I said in the beginning, we all have mental health. So definitely look out for impairment in functioning, but also just go so that you can get your own checkup and know where your mental health is.
That's good. I'm glad you said that word, because we go for an annual physical every year.
That's it.
That would be like huge, to make mental health checkups, to sit down and talk with someone and just say, hey, I just want to make sure I'm good. This is how I've been feeling, or this is what's going on with me. Or like I said, a lot of times it's things in our personal lives that are triggered or are happening at that moment. Absolutely. And then if it's something that, happens and you move on from it, you may do better until a trigger comes again. So I think it's real important that, make it an annual thing, or, like a checkup kind of thing. And then speak to someone and they'll tell you, I'll see you in 3 weeks, I'll see you in 3 months, or whatever the case may be. But do that for yourself.
Yes.
Your own sanity.
Absolutely. It's essential.
Yeah.
It's essential for us to be able to do the things that we do, to carry out the vision, like you talk about, right? And to be productive for ourselves, for our family, for our community. We need to be okay mentally and emotionally. Right. And so that mental health involves everything: our mood, our personality, our behaviors, our thought patterns. Right. Some of us just have unhealthy thought patterns. So we might not necessarily, be depressed, but some of the ways in which we think impact our ability to function at our maximum capacity. And so that's where this mental health, I just love to talk about it. And I love to talk in these platforms because I know who's listening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my aunt just brought up something as I'm reading her comments. I think a lot of times too, when we carry a title, we're a doctor, we're an attorney, we're a minister, like that plus mental health doesn't work for us. Like, we can't, why do I got God, Jesus, all day, every day,
Yeah, but if you got a toothache, you're going to go to the dentist, even though you have God.
You're going to run.
Right?
Run to the dentist.
That toothpaste have you up at night. It'll have you going all kind of folds going to do what you got to do.
That's a good analogy. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love Taylor, who we talked about before, right? Who also is
Taylor Made.
Yes, she's amazing, and what she's doing.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yes. But like she always talks about, you know, sometimes we relegate these things just to certain spaces and not realizing that God is working even in the therapy room, right? Because he gave me these skills. He gave me the vision from when I was 12 years old. I didn't know what a child psychologist was or did. How did this happen, right? So even us, like you said, with these titles, that's where destigmatizing it and breaking down some of the shame and some of all of these things is going to be so important, because you can be even better in a position that you are and in your title and able to carry that out if you do what you got to do for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can people find Ray of Light? How do they, I mean, everything is digital these days. Everybody's got Instagram, everybody's got Facebook. They, sliding in folk DMs. I didn't know what that was. I was like, girl, I was like, what does all this mean? Like I said, just this platform alone, I'm just so grateful because we don't know. We've got 10 people on watching now, but this will reach people that really, really need to hear what you had to say and, need a ray of light and need that. And I love it. And I've been saying it all night, a ray of light, because it's so endearing. And I think it's the perfect name for what you do and the services that you provide. So I know it wasn't by happenstance that you came up with that. You didn't call it, Angelita's counseling service or something like that. Similar to how I have the Kairos moment. God gave me that. It could have been Bernita Saunders, weddings and events. No, it's not about me. It's about the vision. And so God gave you a ray of light. And so how do we reach out? Okay, Christina, I see you. Look at here. Thank you. Ray of Light, New York.
Well, that's the best way.
That is the best way.
Yes.
I'm sure there is confidentiality. You already, for those that are new on this platform that may not know our speaker, Angel, this evening, you see the person here. I mean, she is down to earth, so very thoughtful. I'm just loving it. Definitely do what you need to do, because we all need to be well in this time. I mean, and Imani's right behind her. She wrote it down too. We need to be, whole. We had a prayer right before this, and I said, Lord, make us whole. Most of us are well, but are we whole?
Right.
And I think about what it is that we're doing here and providing these, platforms for everyone. We have a good time, we laugh and everything, but on the serious side, there are people out there that are hurting and they need someone to talk to. Absolutely. And they're not sure where to go or how to even go about it. And so websites and hotlines and things like that, it takes a lot for someone to pick up a phone for a hotline.
Absolutely.
Trust the person on the other end understands and knows what they're going through. And they're just not, like Jane Doe and you've got a real person here, people. Even if you may not need them right now, tell somebody about a ray of light and the services that are provided.
Absolutely.
Next retreat. When is the next retreat? When are you going to do something else, you think, this year or next year?
It'll probably be next year in May. And once
like an annual.
Exactly, an annual. And I will send that right to you so you can
Excellent. Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Maybe next May too. So we have to watch our dates. We'll finally have that conference, which is where this all began before it turned into this platform. We'll be able to have that conference. And so we are supporters of one another as sisters, as women of color. I'm loving all of it. I don't see any, I see a lot of comments. I don't see any question. Thank you, Robin. She is thanking you for your time and thanking me for having this session, and she's going to be in contact with you. So yes, you can hit her up and on her website, definitely. Well, we're good with our time, and I just want to, again, thank everyone for joining us and supporting tonight. I would love to have you back. Certainly when we do the conference, you will be there.
I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. And I will be at yours. I'm looking forward to that. All
Yeah.
right.
All
You
right.
be blessed. Everyone have a good night. Angel, stay behind. Don't go nowhere. We'll talk offline. God bless everyone. And thank you once again for joining us. Prayerfully, something has been said that has touched your heart. Please be a blessing and extend the love. God bless. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.